Now it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, reopening weekend, Vegas, and it looks dead out here, as you can see. But the truth is, it's really hot. Inside the hotels and casinos is way more packed, but Vegas is starting to open things up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of TVP Vlogs. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Tim. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to join the TVP fam. So last weekend, Vegas opened officially June 4th after this lockdown over the last few months. So I had to go out there for opening weekend just to see what was new, to see what things have changed. And thanks to all of you, I had no idea where I wanted to stay, so I did a poll on my social medias. If you don't follow my social medias, make sure y'all follow the social media links below and that are posted in the video. But I did a poll between Bellagio, MGM, and Flamingo, because those were a few of the first properties that were open. So most of you said stay at Bellagio, and that's where I stayed. So appreciate the support for that. So in today's vlog, what I decided to do was I wanted to hop through the casinos just to see what the casinos look like. And I figured, you know what, let's just walk the strip as hot as it was, because it was excruciatingly hot in Vegas. It was crucial, but I decided to go up to MGM and start with MGM, work my way all the way down to the Wynn. Yes, I know, I did make that walk. It was a long walk, but I did that for y'all. You know, I figured y'all would appreciate it. I know a lot of people aren't gonna be able to make it to Vegas for some time, so I figured I'd do this for all of you. So if y'all appreciate my hard work, I'd appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button and making that button blue. Hit that like button for me so we can get the content out to the masses. But without further ado, let's get started with this vlog. Alright, so I was at MGM Grand, decided to check out the MGM Grand Casino. They've got these handless sensors that was pretty cool. Just wave your hand and it'll let you in and out the doors. That was real good for social distancing. So over by the New York Bridge, you'll notice with a lot of restaurants they have the little floor mats, as you'll also see here as I went to one of my favorite restaurants, Beer Park, just to give people space gaps for the social distancing practicing. But as you can see, the strip was pretty dry, and as we head up these stairs to Beer Park, this is one of my favorite sports bars that I highly recommend to everybody. Come out here, you'll get some of the best views to sit down and eat in Vegas, directly across the street from Bellagio. But it was a decent crowd in there. They had just opened at 2 o'clock, so I had to be there. It was perfect timing while I was walking down my way through the strip. So I went in here, and as you see, I got the prime rib cheesesteaks, one of my favorites things to eat there, along with one of their drinks there. I've got to get the name for that. I'll put a pop-up to name of that. But after I refueled, decided to make my way on down the strip. Now over here by Bally's, the little shops over here, some were open, some were still boarded up and closed, as this was reopening weekend. But from what you all can see, the strip was pretty quiet. This was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and most people, as I stated in the earlier clip, were indoors because it's like 108 degrees. So yeah, I was out here sweating and putting in this work for y'all because it was important that I figured everybody got to see what the day versus night looked like. So I was heading down the Link Promenade, and as you see, it was a little bit of traffic out here. You know, people out there doing the art galleries. Some of the bars and some of the restaurants were open on the promenade. As you can see, Chayo LV, a good Mexican restaurant. I definitely recommend going there if y'all like Mexican food. They opened on opening day as well, and there were a few people in there as well. But it was a small little crowd on the promenade. It doesn't look like a lot of people, but it was busier than I thought it was going to be. But it was a cool little crowd. It was nice to be able to just walk back down this promenade, to see what shops were open, and to see that some people had got back to work on the promenade. So it was cool for them. In-N-Out is open. I know a lot of people who are familiar with In-N-Out love In-N-Out, so you can definitely get your In-N-Out fix in. And I head on over to the Yard House. I was thinking about going to the High Roller. They were open, but by the time I got to this point at the strip, I was hot. I needed to take a break. So it was no High Roller, it was no dining. I wasn't going anywhere. I was like, I'm gonna just take a break. So So after going down the promenade, I was like, man, I'm gonna go take a break, go back to the hotel at Bellagio. Decided to pop through Caesars, and as you can see, it's much more busier inside the casinos. Same with Bellagio. Everybody's indoors enjoying the cool air, getting their gamble on, just enjoying the vibes from inside where it's cool and smarter to be. So they do have these hand washing stations from when you come inside of the strip. You'll actually be able to wash your hands if you feel that the hand sanitizer isn't enough for you. So that was a cool thing to see. So I went and got some fresh air out by the pool, got me a drink, kicked back to enjoy the breeze that started coming as it cooled down, because I figured I'd wait till about 7 o'clock or so before I went back to the strip so that it could cool down and I could finish this vlog for y'all. But got me some rays at the sun and enjoyed the breeze from the pool and the air that was flowing. It was nice. So as it cooled down, I decided to go back to the strip, hop on the other side, on the Caesars Palace Mirage side, and it was more quiet on this side than it was on the other side. So typically this side of the strip is busy, but it's always busier because it's easier to walk down the other side of the strip. So I went down to the Wynn just because I was going through the casinos as I was doing this vlog, and I walked in the Palazzo. I actually called a Lyft because I was going to go downtown to Fremont Street, so that we could do a Fremont Street vlog with everything all lit up at night. Y'all know the Fremont Street crowds on the weekend are busy. But the ride share times were terrible. I waited 15 minutes to get a Lyft, and then 5 minutes later it was updating saying that another driver was coming, and then 3 minutes later it was updating saying another driver was coming. So I was just like, you know what? We're gonna scratch this for the night. I'm gonna just walk back up the strip. We're gonna get a night view and see what it looked like on the strip at night to see if it's busier. And the craziest thing of all things happened as I'm coming up the walkway or the steps from Palazzo to get back to the strip. I walked smack dab in the middle of a protest. That's all I heard was these loud horns and noises, and I was just like, what is going on? And then I walked right in the middle of it. And since I was vlogging for y'all, I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and walk with the protest for a little bit, because I'm in full support of the movement, and I just wanted to see how they were going to carry on this peaceful protest. So here's a clip from the protest. So the protest went on for I was with them for about 10-15 minutes. It was a very peaceful protest. There were people who, I guess, had left another protest that was in the area who were in cars, and they were showing support from the cars. And most of the people on the strip were very supportive of the protest as well. So once a situation started to occur with people chanting "All Lives Matter" and the protest had stopped so that they could talk that off, I figured it was about time I went ahead on about my way and continued on up the strip. So as you see, once I got past the protest and carried on down the strip, the streets of Vegas have definitely started to pick up. You can see the traffic is starting to flow again. And on this side of the strip, the Link Promenade side, where all of the other hotels are easier to access, as you can see, the crowds had definitely started to pick up at night. There were more people outside. One, because it was cooler. But most people love the view of Vegas at night. It's just the city lit up. That's what makes people want to come to Vegas, on top of the gambling and partying and all of that good stuff. But if you just want to stroll, you love Vegas at night. So at this point, I had got back on over to Bellagio, and as you can see just from this side, the strip had also picked up as well. People were out just walking around, enjoying the views and life of Vegas. So at this point, you know, it was good to see that the strip had picked up and that people were out or whatever, enjoying themselves and having a good time. At this point, I had ended the vlog because I was going to meet up with a couple of subscribers. Shout out to the subs that I met who were in town for the weekend. I had glanced through Cosmo real quick just to check it out, and Cosmo was packed. It looked like typical Cosmo. It was so nice to see. So I ended the vlog for this day because I was tired, I was hot, kicked it with the subscribers for the night. And then when I got up Saturday, I decided to go hit up Fremont Street because we had to check out Fremont Street. What is a vlog without Fremont Street, you know? So went on, got a ride down to Fremont Street, and so here's my clip from Fremont Street. Slidezilla, there's the entrance down there. As you see, they got metal detectors to get in, but Fremont Street is officially open. As you see, the new graphic screen they have above. And the D is one of the hotels that are open. There's a good little crowd down here. Got the side shops and everything. So the Fremont Street crowd, as you can see, just during the day was probably double to triple, maybe even 4 times the size of the crowd that I saw any of the days during the days on this strip. It was definitely the typical Fremont vibe. Everybody was in good spirits. Even the casinos were packed during the day. Obviously, with it being cold, that would make the most sense. But there were a little bit of changes. They had the little metal entrances. Even they had the little gated entrances here. It was weird because they were saying you had to be 21 and older to be on Fremont Street, and then an ID would need to be present. But as you probably can tell from these clips, there were some people on Fremont Street, although accounted by their parents, under the age of 21. But nevertheless, it was good to be able to come to Fremont Street, see the nice updated LED screen for those of you who haven't seen it, and just to see that the crowds were busy on Fremont Street and that people were back in Vegas enjoying the Vegas experience. So overall, my experience on opening weekend, if you were to ask me should you go to Vegas, I would say yes if you want to have the Vegas experience, to enjoy those Vegas vibes. If you want to gamble, if you're tired of being quarantined and locked down in the house and you need some fresh air, absolutely, I would definitely say go to Vegas, because there are things to do. As far as the clubs and the pool parties, the clubs and pool parties are not open, but a lot of the bars and the lounges in the hotels, they are open. Up to this point, what I noticed was that if you were to go to a lounge, you would have to be seated by someone working there. You couldn't just walk in and go up to the bar and get a drink. They're only letting people in as they're seated. So the bars were holding like a max of 6 people so they could practice social distancing. Groups were limited to a max of 4 to 6 depending on which lounge you went to, and they would sit you in a section. So they were letting people in, they were letting folks at the bar have drinks or whatever, but they just weren't letting people walk in and stand around because they are emphasizing social distancing. And one thing I did notice that was kind of strange, but I guess, you know, it's Vegas and it's up to the beholder, is the emphasis of masks. Now, the virus is the biggest reason why all of these shutdowns and this crash occurred over the last few months. And so all of the hotel staff are wearing masks at the hotels, but a lot of the people who are in Vegas were not wearing masks. Now that might be surprising to some, but to me personally it wasn't that surprising, because if it's 100 and something degrees outside, people aren't going to be wanting to be walking around with a mask. And then if you're indoors, I mean, it's already bad enough if you don't have a really good mask. At some point you just get tired of trying to breathe through a mask. But some of the casinos, as I'll get into in another video, they have plexiglass to divide the dividers, or to divide the tables from people at the who were gambling. Can't even get my words right. But most of the casinos, they didn't have the plexiglass. It was just a regular table, but tables are only doing 3 people max at a table, and at craps tables they're doing a max of 6 people. So that's their way of trying to practice social distancing in the casinos, and I personally didn't mind it. I know some people probably are going to feel some type of way about people being in Vegas not wearing masks, but again, like I said, that's just to the perspective of the person. So if you're looking to go party and have that typical party wild out Vegas vibe, you might want to sit back and wait a little bit, just because all of the clubs are open. At the time of opening weekend, just off the top of my head, the only hotels that were open were MGM, New York, Cosmo, Bellagio, Flamingo, Harris opened that Friday, Venetian, Palazzo, Wynn, and Encore. Those were and the Stratosphere. I didn't even make it down to the Stratosphere, but those were the hotels that were open for opening weekend, and then most of the Fremont hotels were open as well. But at the time of this video, I saw that MGM plans to extend openings and open their other properties, so Mandalay Bay, Excalibur, Luxor, Aria, all of the other MGM properties will be opening, and I believe Caesar will be following suit as well. Between June 25th and July 1st, those properties should be open as well. So I hope y'all enjoyed this vlog. I know some of y'all are so happy to see Vegas open. I know some of you were out there Vegas opening weekend, and if you were out there, comment below and let me know what your experience was, what you thought about opening weekend, and if you would go back or if you would recommend for other people to go. It felt great to be back in Vegas. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it just felt nice walking the strip, even though it was scorching hot and I had to take like 4 or 5 breaks. But just being out there and being around everybody and all of the positive vibes and all of the smiles, you know, that's what makes Vegas Vegas. And it was phenomenal to be around that. From someone who loves the club, it was cool just being able to gamble and chill in bars and, you know, socialize with people from all over the place. So, you know, you'll find the good in Vegas if you go out there with an open mind. If you don't go out there expecting to do this, and this, and just want to be like, let me just go to Vegas and have fun, you're gonna have a great time. If you have a set schedule and agenda, then it's probably best that you wait until everything is open. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and as always, thanks for watching.